Welcome to a day in the life of Complete Coherence. I'm Alan Watkins. We have the great pleasure of working all over the world with corporate executives. We also work with a number of Olympic and Paralympic sports. Today we're at the Stoke Mandeville Stadium, birthplace of the Paralympic movement. We're working with the GB Paralympic shooting team. What happens to you emotionally coming into the moment you start shooting? Are you aware of how you're feeling, and then does that change when you put your game face on?
It's always been hard to distinguish in the past whether I'm feeling nervous or whether I'm feeling excited, right. But I've realised now that it's excitement rather than nerves.
Right.
So that's made it a little bit easier to deal with. Yeah, a lot of accepting what I'm feeling and then managing it rather than trying to hide away from it.
So really kind of acknowledging what you're really feeling is an important first step to getting it under control.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. After that talk this morning, I'm really excited about the things that I've learned about how it's possible to change your emotions or to realise what your emotions are and affect them to make it better for your performance. So that's definitely something I'm looking forward to trying and using that.
First time I was fortunate to listen to Alan Watkins through the Elite Coach program from the UK Sport, and when I heard his sessions twice, I really realized this is one of the most logical explanation which I have heard about the mental performance and how to perform under pressure, on demand, deliver consistent performance. The model which he comes out with is really applicable for shooting. And it's not only for shooting, I think it's for day-to-day life. So I thought it was a really good thing to get this knowledge back to our sports.
Are we fixed on one emotion, or how quickly do we decide to flip between emotions? So people that don't use this method, people that aren't in control, do they stay in one emotion long enough to recognise it?
When you've got no kind of control on which planet you're on, which emotion you're experiencing, you're going all over the shop, and sometimes massive swings from one emotional state to another emotional state in a matter of a few seconds.
Yeah.
So part of the point of getting control of your emotions is to settle on a planet long enough that it can be of value to you. So if you want to get to the planet of contentment, what happens is you might momentarily start to feel a little bit of contentment, and then a letter drops on your doormat and you're blown off course.
Yeah.
Or somebody says something to you and it drags you to way over the other side of the universe, and you're suddenly in the state of frustration. So part of the point of mastering your own emotions is you can stay on the planet you want to be on for much longer periods. So when you're competing, right, if you need to be on the planet of focused, for example, if that's the state that really helps you, you can stay there and stay focused for 25, 35 minutes. So you may have had days where you'd say, God, I'm really fed up with myself today. Have you ever had that?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So that's interesting there. So you say, I am fed up with me. I'm fed up with me. So there's this thing here that's fed up with this thing here. There's two things. There's an I and there's a me. So that's just to kind of reveal that actually the self isn't just one thing. It's a complicated kind of constellation of things.
Everyone has dark days, and I'm fairly newly injured. I've only been in a wheelchair for 2 years, so you still have quite a lot of up and downs, and you encounter people in this sort of atmosphere that they are sometimes depressed or sad, and it's easy to be sort of drawn into it. So it was really helpful what Dr. Allen said about saying you're just going to decide to be happy. You're going to decide to see the positives. You're going to decide to feel gratitude, because it could have been worse, or there are things you still do. Look at the opportunities I have still. So absolutely, it's going to help me take a more positive outlook when things go downhill.
Unlike sports, active sports, this is very much an internal sport where you have to use your own brain power and you have to keep calm and cool under very difficult conditions. My disabled athletes have to cope with everyday life just as well as shooting and learning the additional disciplines to be able to cope with the pressures of international competition.
Leading up to a qualifier, leading up to a final, when you're shooting, your emotions are going to completely affect the way you're shooting, the way you're thinking, the way the gun's moving, if you've got more pulse, less pulse, and things like that. So yeah, having the ability to control them things and portray to your competitors that you're a lot more comfortable than what they might be, or even make them start to feel nervous. That's gonna be a massive thing.
Deciding to be confident and deciding that you feel relaxed, or deciding that you feel sort of brave is the right word for the fire point. Brave enough to follow your technique and to believe in yourself. That's a big part of this sport. It's a very psychological sport. So definitely what Dr. Allen was saying about just deciding to feel confident. That's probably the biggest thing I'll take away from today. Realising
what things you're feeling and how that you're in control. Ultimately, you can be in control of that, and you can change the way you're feeling without somebody else affecting that. Is going to be a massive part of my shooting in the future, I think.